So without further ado, please join me in welcoming John Irving.
I always feel a little embarrassed in this kind of crowd because I'm one of those guys that's in the National Wrestling Hall of Fame, not on the merits of my wrestling, because I got lucky at something else. Okay, and so I'm happy to be here among you. I started wrestling at the same time I started writing. I was 14. I was living in a small town in New Hampshire. But the wrestling coach at the local prep school was way overqualified to be there. He was a Big Ten champion from Illinois, an NCAA runner-up. He lost to one of the Van Bebbers from Oklahoma State. He was a guy named Ted Seabrook, and in those years, the school where I wrestled, we dominated New England high school and prep school wrestling in those years. I went to Pittsburgh, where Rex Perry was my coach, so I've had no lack of terrific coaching. I just had a sizable lack of talent, but I had people who were showing me as wrestling as well as it could be done. I was in Iowa City teaching at the Writers' Workshop from 72 to 75 when Coach Gable came there from Munich. I said to him last night when he was standing behind me that it was the only time I'd been in front of him that I could remember when I wasn't in an armbar. So for once it was a good feeling. I'm working now on a screenplay, among other things, of Dan Gable's life. And the other day he said to me, well, we've passed through this for a long time now, about 5 years. I think we've made about 10 or 12 passes through the script, but as he would understand, and as everybody here who's wrestled would understand, I'm not quite done. Writing is mostly rewriting. There's a lot more drilling in wrestling than there is match time. I don't have to tell you that. And every book I've written, I've rewritten 10 or 12 times. I did not learn how to revise a novel from an English class. I did not learn how many times you have to pass through the same book and reread and rewrite the same sentence from anything I studied in the world of literature. I learned it from wrestling. That you have to be willing to live with the repetition. That if you're bored, if you're tired, if you're inattentive to paying attention to the smallest detail, to doing it again and again, you will never be any good as a writer. And I know I don't have to tell you that you'll never be any good as a wrestler either. As a bystander now, when I go to wrestling rooms and I'm watching good guys warm up, it's always the same. You drill and you drill and you drill and you drill. Well, I've made a living doing that. I competed as a wrestler for 20 years. I coached at the high school level till I was 47. It was enormously gratifying to me. But my day job is rewriting sentences I've already written 10, 12 times. I write long novels. It sometimes takes me 5, 6, 7 years to write a novel. My 12th novel is being published right now, and I don't think I'm much more talented as a writer than I ever was as a wrestler. But I know how to keep redoing it, and I think that this sport gave me that kind of patience, gave me that kind of stamina, and I'm eternally grateful for my involvement in it, although I never won a major tournament at any level in the sport. High school, collegiate, and post-collegiately, not one. But I love it, and I love it to this day. I heard Gable say one day, this was in New York, that someone seemed surprised when Gable said that he used to get a pretty good workout working out with me. And then he paused and said, well, he got a better one. That's true. That's true. But I think those of you here understand that sometimes it's a privilege to get pushed around by somebody, depending on who it is, right? I know that our sport is, it needs help. I know that across the country, high school programs are growing, and collegiately, we're not always keeping up with the growth of the sport at the high school level. And those of us who have benefited from wrestling, we really have to stay involved. I feel at age 67 that I have never been able to write for as many hours, as many days in a row consecutively. I work 7 or 8 hours a day, 7 days a week when I'm home, when I'm not traveling. And I didn't learn how to do that from English classes either. It's a hard work ethic, and you can put it to use with whatever the rest of your life is going to be, and it's a shame not to be supporting the young wrestlers who work hard through high school at the higher end, right? We have to work harder to make that happen. Thank you.